welcome to the OTCnet webinar on Introduction to CAIA. The objectives of the webinar today are to introduce you to CAIA updates that focus on the transitioning to the common approach to identity assurance, CAIA impacting user authentication and user provisioning workflow, and provide you with additional information and resources to help you get up to speed. Let's begin.
Our agenda for today's webinar includes the following topics: overview to CAIA, user authentication through personal identity verification, common access card or PIVCAC and IDMI credentials, user provisioning workflow, key takeaways and what's next, frequently asked questions, and closing remarks. During the presentation, we'll be sharing relevant resources including printable job aids, videos, and contact information to help you get started.
First, we would like to take a moment to give you an overview of CAIA. The Fiscal Service-led initiative focuses on standardizing the way users register and log into applications. The Common Approach to Identity Assurance, CAIA, takes over TWA's IBM Security Identity Manager, ISIM, to manage user registration and provisioning in SailPoint, IIQ, and OTCnet. SailPoint is an identity management solution utilized by the Department of Treasury to manage user identities and provisioning of new OTCnet users who can self-register in SailPoint IIQ, create an account using PIVCAC and/or ID.me. Overall, CAIA allows users to authenticate using personal identity verification or common access cards or ID.me, allows PLSA and LSAs to register users and request OTCnet access for users in SailPoint IIQ, allows users to obtain fine-grained user access in OTCnet with the assistance of HLAS or high-level agency support, PLSAs, or primary local security administrators, and LSAs, or local security administrators. Next, we will highlight the key updates for end users. They include modernized user account and identity management with SailPoint. OTCnet replaced the user account and identity management tool ISIM with SailPoint. All user accounts and identity management will be conducted in SailPoint and OTCnet. Users can authenticate using PIVCAC linked to their Fiscal Service SSO account or log into OTCnet through an external provider, ID.me. User management and provisioning in SailPoint and OTCnet. The PLSAs and LSAs will assist with creating an identity for a user and/or requesting an HLO or role access for them in SailPoint IIQ. This is the preferred method for registration for users in SailPoint IIQ, while the self-registration functionality is also available to users as needed. Once the access request is approved, a PLSA or LSA will provide you with fine-grained access and endpoint role to OTCnet. Then you will be able to successfully sign into the OTCnet application. Temporarily freeze data in OTCnet security reports. Any user creation or role modification conducted post August 2nd, 2023 will not be reflected in the security reports at this time. Access to the security reports will be restored in a future release.
Next, the key updates for the PLSAs and LSAs include: first, adding or removing user access in SailPoint. PLSAs and LSAs can request access on behalf of users in SailPoint. They can also remove user access. Second, approving or denying user access requests in SailPoint. With CAIA, approval requests will be sent to all HLS or high-level agency support, PLSAs and LSAs, not only 12 randomly selected ones. All system admins within the same organization hierarchy will receive the approval request. Third, adding or removing an endpoint or role for a user in OTCnet. POSAs and LSAs will select specific endpoints or roles for fine-grained access under the HLOs and roles selected and approved in SailPoint for a user. And finally, the POSAs and LSAs can approve or reject the endpoint or role requests in OTCnet. We'll discuss these user provisioning processes in more detail later in this presentation.
Before we go through the steps of user authentication, we would like to share some background information. Government agency users and contractors with personal identity verification cards or common access cards, PIVCAC, have had their identities transitioned seamlessly into CAIA. Non-government users without PIVCAC cards will need to use ID.me to create new user identities. New OTCnet users should go through OTCnet to authenticate using PIVCAC or ID.me credentials to create an account. Once their high-level organization access and preliminary roles are requested and approved in SailPoint IIQ, they can proceed to log into OTCnet. Existing users with PIVCAC will go to OTCnet as well to log in. Those users who don't have PIVCAC must create their ID.me account through OTCnet. It is important for those without PIVCAC credentials to make their OTCnet email address the default email address in their ID.me account so they can authenticate into OTCnet. If you already have an ID.me account, simply enter your associated email address and password and then select Sign In. Even though you have an account, you'll be asked to verify your identity by entering your one-time identification code received via mobile phone or email. If you do not have an ID.me account, select the Create an ID.me account link and follow the prompts to set up the account. Next, enter the email address associated with OTCnet. Enter a password for ID.me, accept the terms of service, and select Create an Account. If you create an account with your personal email, make sure to provide your organization's email address associated with your OTCnet account to ensure the OTCnet will recognize your identity when you log into the application. After selecting Create an Account, the page will refresh and you will receive an email with a link to follow to verify your account. Follow the on-screen instructions to do that. You may also be prompted to select an authentication method. Follow the instructions to do so. You may be asked to verify your identity by entering your one-time identification code received via mobile phone or email. In general, Authenticator app solutions are more secure than text messages. During the next steps of your identity creation, you'll be asked to upload your government ID and enter your social security number. Then you will verify your phone and address. When completing all the steps on screen, to log into OTCnet, you will be asked if ID.me has your permission to share your verified information with the Treasury. Select Allow. Then you will be logged into OTCnet with your ID.me account. For more information and a detailed step-by-step instruction, please refer to the Treasury and ID.me site. We will also share a job aid on how to create an OTCnet account through ID.me after the webinar, along with a PowerPoint deck. If you need help with resetting your password and/or unlocking your account, please refer to the following resources. The identity provider has a forgot password option for the user to reset their own password. ID.me support has a help page with no login required at this link. It includes a chatbot. Help Center login required at this link. It includes a chatbot and an option to open a help desk ticket.
Next, let's discuss the user provisioning workflow in CAIA. As we mentioned before, SailPoint replaces ISIM for high-level user authorizations or provisions, while fine-grained user authorizations will be completed in OTCnet. Let's look at the user provisioning workflow at a high level. First, the POSAs or LSAs will receive an authorized approved request to add a new user from their organization to OTCnet. Second, the POSA or LSA logs into SailPoint, selects Manage User Access, and searches for the email address of the new user. If the email address is not found, the POSA or LSA selects Manage Identity and Create Identity from the menu options. They enter the authorized user's email address and select Submit. If the email address is found, the POSA or LSA continues with Step 3. In Step 3, the POSA or LSA adds the authorized raw HOO or raw financial institution combinations to the user identity. Another POSA or LSA approves or denies the request. Then the requester, POSA, LSA notifies the user to log into OTCnet. Fourth, the user logs in to OTCnet and sees the following message. Thank you for logging into OTCnet. You have completed the steps to request access to the application. The user is prompted to contact their POSA or LSA, requesting for them to set up their OTCnet endpoints and roles. And finally, the POSA or LSA logs into OTCnet and adds the authorized endpoints and roles to the user. Another POSA or LSA approves or rejects the request. Then the user is informed that the OTCnet provisioning is complete. Next, we'll demo some key steps of the user provisioning process by walking through some mock-up screens from SailPoint and OTCnet applications. First, from the menu options of the SailPoint application, select the Manage Identity option and Create Identity. SailPoint will display the Create Identity screen. Second, enter an email address for the identity you want to create and select Submit at the bottom of the page. Once submitted, SailPoint will display the home page with a success message. Third, search for a user typing their email address and select the user. Then select the Add Access tab. In the search field, enter the HOO or role name to be assigned to the user. In the search results field, select the desired HOO or role. Multiple HOOs or roles can be selected. Then select Next at the bottom of the page. Fourth, review the requested HOO or role selected. Add comments as needed by selecting the voice bubble on the right side of the screen. Then select the Submit button when finished. Fifth, the approver of the request, POSA and LSA, will notice a red number notification next to the bell icon in the upper right-hand corner of the main SailPoint dashboard. They will select the Approvals or Notifications box or the Approvals option under the bell icon. Sixth, on the Approver screen, on the right side of the screen, the approver will select Approve or Deny and will see a confirmation pop-up window. They can also select Approve All or Deny All on the left side of the screen to approve or deny all user requests at once. Seventh, in OTCnet, a POSA LSA will add an endpoint or role for a user by selecting Search User Directory from the OTCnet homepage, Administration, Manage Users, Manage OTCnet User screen. In the search field, POSAs and LSAs will type the user email address and press Enter. Then, under Manage User Account, they will select View Account. 8. From the Manage User Account screen, they will select the Add Endpoint Row button. 9. From the Manage User Account, Add Endpoint Row screen, the POSAs and LSAs will select a row from the Choose a Row dropdown. Then they will select the associated levels from the drop-down options. Next, they will select the Submit button to submit the request. Then, another POSA and LSA will approve or reject the endpoint or role. From the OTCnet homepage, they will select Administration, Manage Users, Manage OTCnet Users. They will notice a pending requests list and we will select the View Details link to view a specific request. They will review the read-only information and enter any approval or rejection comments in the Approver Comments field. Then they will select the Approve or Reject button. A confirmation page will display. Finally, POSAs and LSAs will review the read-only information on the confirmation page and will select OK to return to the Manage OTCnet Users page. For detailed step-by-step instruction, please refer to the printable job aids posted on the OTCnet training site. We have listed the relevant job aids on user provisioning and provided the links to them for you. In addition, for an immersive user experience, refer to the YouTube videos on the OTCnet training site. These videos illustrate the steps for requesting or removing OTCnet access, as well as approving or denying OTCnet access in SailPoint. Some additional resources to help you understand the user provisioning workflow and user authentication include frequently asked questions document and system requirements guide. We have posted them on the Fiscal Service Resources site and provided the links for you. Next, we will wrap up with some key takeaways from the session and will briefly address what's next. Let's summarize the key updates in CAIA. CAIA takes over ISIM to manage user registration and user provisioning in SailPoint and OTCnet. All users will authenticate using PIVCAC or IDMI credentials. POSAs and LSAs will register users and request OTCnet access for them in SailPoint. Prospective users will obtain fine-grained user access in OTCnet with the assistance of HOAs, POSAs, and LSAs. Next, let's briefly address what's next in the upcoming OTCnet releases. First, multi-factor authentication or MFA will be added to the OTCnet offline. Through MFA, users will be granted access to the application only after presenting at least two pieces of evidence to verify their identity. Users will be able to use MFA in OTCnet offline to be compliant with Cybersecurity Executive Order 14028. Second, offline to online authentication password will be implemented. Check capture administrators will be able to create passwords for online authentication into offline to continue to perform functions in OTCnet offline. And third, extending session timeout to 30 minutes in OTCnet offline. The session timeout in the offline application will be extended to 30 minutes, which prevents unnecessary timeouts due to inactivity.
Next, we will cover some frequently asked questions from OTCnet users. For example, some of them are, I don't have a PIVCAC. What do I do? If you have lost your card or you were never issued one, your next best option will be to create an account using ID.me to access OTCnet. Another question is, what is SailPoint IQ used for? If you are a new user, your PLSA or LSA will register you in SailPoint IQ and request high level organization and roles for you in SailPoint. Another PLSA or LSA will receive a notification that there is an access request pending their review. PLSA and LSAs will then log into SailPoint to approve or deny the requested HLO or roles. Other questions include, who is my PLSA or LSA? If you're not sure who your primary local security administrator or local security administrator is, reach out to the OTCNet customer support team. They will have your PLSA or LSA contact you. Their email is fiscalservice.otcchannel@city.com. If you have any more questions, are there any additional resources I can refer to? Feel free to visit the OTCNet training website where you can find training user guides, web based training modules, printable job aids, and training YouTube videos. Next, we will be going over some closing remarks. Finally, if you need any further support or have any additional questions, please reach out to the OTCNet customer support team. Their contact information is provided on the slide. Thanks for joining us to learn about CAIA. Have a great day.